What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be talking about Greensboro hitters. And obviously, there's a lot more excitement that usually comes with this group just solely based on the stadium that they play. First National Bank Field's quite the bandbox, quite the hitter-friendly ballpark. And there's a few guys here that's going to at least start the year here that they're gonna have some fun. They might even I posted on Twitter when the rosters came out that one of them might even hurt somebody out there with how hard he can hit the baseball and just how hitter friendly it is, especially for right-handers. The first noticeable change is going to come at the top. The last couple of years, Blake Butler, who was a Greensboro native, was the manager, and he led them to a couple playoff appearances. He is now a infield coach with the Miami Marlins. And so out goes Blake Butler, and in comes Jose Mosquera, who I believe was one of the coaches for the WBC. So it's good to have that kind of experience come in and step in. So we're going to start with the hitters. And first, we're going to start with the catchers. We're going to have Easton. It's going to be Easton Carmichael, Axiel Plaz, and Cam Yannick. Carmichael was a third-round pick for the Pirates out of Oklahoma last year. Jumped straight to high A. Didn't do too well. Went 6 for 50 with 11 strikeouts. So the contact rates were good. It did look like he was maybe just running into some bad luck on there. And then also, too, making the jump straight to Greensboro, as opposed to where we see a lot of the hitters kind of move to Bradenton first and then eventually up to. Saw a little bit of a power jump in his final year at Oklahoma. That's kind of what landed him as a third round pick. Also had a really good Cape Cod stint. The Pirates do like their college hitters that have the experience over at the Cape. He'll be an interesting guy just because I think there's a lot more there than what we saw last year. I think there was a little bit of bad luck. He's a very athletic catcher. There's been some talk about maybe him having to move off the position. Did pretty good there last year, threw out some runners. Obviously, he'll get a long enough run to see if it kind of sticks. Plaz, 25 home runs over the last 2 years. Powers is a big thing. Did look like he was working on trying to improve contact at times with Bradenton. The power didn't maybe translate initially, and it looked like it wasn't really showing, even though like the exit velocity numbers had improved. Got hurt, missed some time. When he got back from the injury, he jumped straight to high A, where he did struggle. But the contact rates improved, and then he went over to the Arizona Fall League and did well there. He didn't get any extra base hits, but he did hit for an high average. Showed like he can cut the chase down a little bit, and was still post above average exit velocity numbers. But I guess the encouraging sign with that is that he's making more contact. So maybe there's more. Maybe there's more hit tool wise, and he can take another step forward. Yannick didn't catch last year with Bradenton before getting hurt and missing most of the season. Played in the outfield, so he may still be an option there in the outfield or as the third catcher, kind of like a super utility guy. But he doesn't hit for much power, but it's just I think he was a guy that actually sneakily had a good showing when I was down there last year. It was just professional at bat after professional at bat, and he's just a guy who's gonna make a pitcher work, get on base, and even if it's not hitting for a lot of power, that's good for the bottom of the order to maybe turn things over to the top, and because he's just gonna get on base constantly. Now, the infield's going to be led by. It's an interesting makeup on how the infield looks, because on one hand you have two of these massive first basemen in Jared Bear Jones was a 8th round pick out of LSU. Hit 50 home runs his last 2 years at school. Signed, and like Carmichael, jumped straight to high A and hit 4 home runs in 15 games, but also struck out 26 times. So big swing and miss guy, but the power is like legit. And I think for an 8th round pick, what they signed him for, I think you're okay with taking that risk every time to see if things kind of click. The other guy, this is the guy who's going to be, I think, the fun one to watch here in Greensboro. Tony Blanco Jr. hit 8 home runs in 30 games last year. Just massive, top of the scale power. It's going to be like he put up exit velocity numbers that only a handful of people in all of baseball can do, and he's still 20 years old. It's a lot of swing and miss. He's a big guy. There's some durability issues just because he hasn't played too much over his first couple years, but like just naturally, it feels like if he plays enough games, if he gets 4 to 500 plate appearances, it's been kind of hard for him not to just hit like 20 to 30 home runs. Like even if he's striking out a bunch, and he struck out 35% of the time last year in his limited sample size, but he still hit that many home runs. The power is just insane. He's a first base / DH. He DH'd in the first game. I'm sure we'll see him DH most of the time. I mean, it's no secret what he's there for. He's not there to defend or any of that other stuff. He's there to hit for power, and naturally he's just going to hit for power a bunch. And I think seeing him out there is going to be him playing in Greensboro might be one of the funnest assignments in the Pirates system this year. As far as infielders, the rest of the infield is kind of like some of your top shortstop prospects that aren't Konnor Griffin. You got Wyatt Sanford, Sammy Stafora, Yordani De Los Santos, Johnny Severino, and then Matt King. Sanford was in that same draft class as Konnor Griffin. He only played in, I believe it was like 65 games last year, but had an OBP on-base percentage a little under 400, hit 5 home runs, 34 stolen bases, is 64 games played. His main calling card is and probably always will be the glove. It's above average to plus defense. I saw him on the backfields and at the complex, and the arm, very much legitimately a plus tool. And it's just smooth operation after smooth operation. The question is how much he's going to impact the ball. Like, he didn't slug for too much. He hit 5 home runs in those games. Most of those came in that first week in Clearwater that he moved up to low A. So if he can add a little muscle without like sacrificing the speed and the bat to ball skills, I think that can unlock another level for him. But I think the most important thing is that he doesn't lose the bat to ball skills and the contact skills, because that's kind of his game and his calling card, and it's going to be something that I think that could get him to the majors. Stafor was acquired in the Cabrian Hayes trade, stole 32 bases last year, played 26 games with Greensboro, didn't have the best numbers with it. I think he's another guy too that like maybe the accuracy of his throws can be off a little bit at times, but the operations were smooth, the arm strength's there, a little more refining it, and like he's right up there with some of the better defenders in the system as well. It's just going to be a lot like Sanford. Like, what kind of hitter is he going to be? And will that translate to the upper levels? Yordani, like, you want to talk about prospect fatigue? It's hard to believe that he's only 21 years old. because he it just seems like he's been around for so long, and the last 3 years it's been that he's played in Bradenton to some extent or another, and to think he was like 18 when he first made it up there, and finally kind of had that breakout-ish type of season. It was still below average in terms of WRC plus, but he stole 51 bases, was among the league leaders in hits and total bases and all that kind of stuff. Hit a career high 11 home runs. I think if everything, he had a really good spring. It's just how much is he going to swing and miss, and how much is he going to chase. I think the chasing out of the zone is the big thing that's kind of just limited him so much. But he looks like he's kind of bulked up this offseason. So, he hit 11 home runs last year, so maybe there's even more in there. He homered in the first game of the season for Greensboro, and then stole an extra 2 bases, stole 51 last year. I think he's a guy he received a pretty good size bonus for the Pirates to sign, and he's always shown like these little flashes here. He'll make these fantastic plays defensively, and he just looks like a ball player, and he's shown some power potential. He could speed. I don't know if like he's like a pure blazer, like, or if it's just more the long strides, but it works for him. He gets there. He's stole over 50 bases. He stole 2 in the first game. So the tools are there. The pieces are there. They've always been there. It's just a matter of putting it all together. And if he added the extra muscle, he looked good in spring training. He had 3 home runs in spring training games. I mean, he wasn't even like an official invitee, and the Pirates kept putting him in the games because he kept doing so well. And Severino, like on one hand, he's a guy who back-to-back double-digit home run, stolen base seasons. There's some raw power there. It's just the swing and miss, the chase. I mean, he flies open on breaking pitches. Like, if he can just kind of figure out what he's going to do defensively, and just stop chasing, show somewhat of a semblance of an approach, and I think there's something there to work with. Going to the outfield, Edward Florentino is obviously the headliner. He's starting the year on the injured list, but it sounds like it should be a pretty quick recovery. This was outside of Konnor Griffin. Like, if it wasn't for Konnor Griffin, this is like the breakout star. It maybe in the entire Pirates organization. As 18 years old, hit 290, 400, 548 with 16 home runs and 35 stolen bases. 16 home runs, but still put up a 90% zone contact rate, 85% overall contact rate. And he gets the ball in the air. Like, his fly ball rate was insane. And like I've talked about it before, especially on Twitter. Elevating the ball is one of the most underrated attributes that a young player can have, and I see it so often that they'll put up these above average to plus contact or exit velocity numbers, but everything's into the ground, beating it to the ground, and it hurts the game power grade because they can't keep the ball elevated, so it doesn't show as much in the games. Florentino didn't have that problem. The exit velocity numbers, considering he was 18, well above average, could even creep into the plus territory as he gets older and matures and fills out. This just, like, all around could end up being one of the top prospects in all of baseball if he's able to take that next step forward. I think the biggest thing for him to take that next step forward is going to be hitting lefties, and then showing also, too, that he could stick in center field. The OPS against lefties was under 500, and there's some talk about him having to move to a corner outfield spot. And I think even if he's in a corner outfield spot, he'll be good enough there, and it'll be kind of like the bat that carries him anyways. Brian Sanchez was the guy that was acquired in the Yankees trade for David Bednar. Didn't play after being acquired, but he stole 24 bases in 63 games. Put up a pretty decent contact rate, pretty decent swing and strike rate. Little raw, there's some raw power. 6'3" frame with speed, center fielder, left-handed hitting. I mean, he was a little bit older for low A, and he'll turn 22 during the season. So it was good to see them get aggressive and send him to Greensboro. Maybe if he does well enough, you could also give him another bit of a push and send him to Altoona. But there's maybe he doesn't have like the pedigree and everything like that. But there's so many little pieces there that you're kind of like, okay, that's kind of like that. That doesn't seem bad. You got Shalene Blanco hit 13 home runs, 9 stolen bases last year. The tools are there. It's just the contact and the swing and miss, and it's really, really strong defender as well. Lonnie White Jr., a lot of the same stuff. 12 home runs, 23 stolen bases last year, but he struck out 36% of the time, and his contact rate was 62%. And finally, Ivan Bruthor. He was acquired in a trade last year at the deadline, put a 140 WRC plus after the trade, 21 games. His swing and strike rate and the contact rate improved after coming over, a lot like Titus Dumitru, who's with Altoona. I saw him towards the end of the year, and that guy is massive. Like, he's every bit of that. I think that he's listed at 6'7". All right. But that's the Altoona or the Greensboro hitters. Tomorrow, the following day, we'll follow it up with the pitching staff, which has a few interesting arms and one that we've already gotten to see this year. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.